Now, there are lots of genius aspects of Dario Argento's 1977 horror classic, Suspiria. The music, the suspense, the colors, the characters, the cinematography, the kills, deaths, etc., etc. I could go on for days. However, there was one scene that really stood out to me that I want to make a video about. So, now let's talk about it and let me explain. The scene I'm talking about occurs around 50 minutes into the movie. Daniel is enjoying some nice and interesting dancing at the local bar/pub. To forget about his stressful day after he was thrown out of the academy for his dog attacking a little boy. This seemed odd to Daniel since his dog is described as peaceful and never do such a thing.
My dog's a peaceful, faithful animal. He's never hurt anyone.
He leaves the bar and is guided down the street by his dog until he reaches an open area surrounded by statues, gargoyles, creepy fucking statues mind you, some buildings, and nothingness. Just an open area. Lots of places for threats and the unknown to just linger around. The music kicks in as more devious and his dog barks a couple of times at what? We don't know. Daniel dismisses the dog's barks, calms him down, and continues to walk through the area until he makes it to the middle, and that's when his dog starts to lose his shit and bark manically in many different directions, different camera movements around the buildings, almost suggesting he's being watched, or it's just the camera detailing the surroundings. Who knows? We've seen these previous camera movements throughout the movie suggesting characters are being watched, and it kind of throws us through a loop here, kind of wondering, is he being watched, or is it Dario Argento just showing us the surroundings of, you know, where Daniel's trying to look? He stops and questions, who's there? Who's there? He just screams, just trying to figure out who the dog could be barking at or what the dog could be barking at, because it must be something pretty bad since the dog is just barking up a storm manically, as I said, as the dog's barks gets crazier and more out of control. Now let's stop for a second and admire the details. Daniel is blind. He cannot see the threat. Neither can we because we're not explicitly shown. We're being placed right in Daniel's shoes, and what's scary? The unknown, the mystery, the darkness. And just to be a bit explicit myself, what's scarier than a potential threat being around you and being blind, not being able to see it? Again, the unknown. And it doesn't help how the dog is losing its absolute shit and losing its shit as if the threat is really dangerous and right there, very close to them. Let's unpause. The camera points in many different directions at random parts of the area, but we cannot see any threat, and obviously neither can Daniel. I don't know if the dog can even see a threat, because dogs sometimes just spot some things that maybe humans can't see, and obviously we can't see, and very much obviously Daniel can't see. So naturally we start to get scared. We worry for Daniel and the dog. It keeps going, dog barks, the music intensifies, Daniel screams, who's there? Who's there? Scared by the unknown threat, camera whipping around, although no monster in sight, as if the monster is standing in the darkness, although we can't see them, again, like Daniel. The threat is in the dark where we can't see them, like Daniel, who only sees darkness. No threat in sight, just darkness. Until the music calms down and then boom! The dog attacks him right in the throat, ripping him to pieces, just ripping off flesh, just really gross shit, slowly eating at his throat. The first time I watched this scene really got me and just startled the shit out of me and just startled me. Just scared the fuck out of me. It does such a good job at building suspense and really putting you in the shoes of the current character in the scene or the victim, and just does a really smart thing of leaving a lot of it in mystery and in the dark, especially for a blind character. And as we are a blind audience, we can't see the threat and neither can he. We're both blind, and it unleashes, nope, pun intended, to the dog, the unexpected. The entire time we think it's a killer. No, a witch, because it sometimes says witch. No, it's nothing. Like, you know, no, it's nothing. There's nothing around here. The dog's just barking at nothing. And then the dog. I love it. It also places some interesting and curious and some clues and breadcrumbs in earlier scenes where we notice this dog being weirdly irrational and vicious towards one person, and it's established as being odd and uncommon with the dog, you know, Daniel's dog, until it attacks him. Obviously, there's so much more to dive into and break down and explain with Suspiria, although to prevent the video from going over an hour, I'll leave it off here. So that's what I want to talk about in the video. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my assessment, if that's what you want to call it, my explanation or breakdown of the scene? Do you have something to add? Do you think it's crazy, or do you think I'm crazy or looking too much into it? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, what are your thoughts? Thanks for watching it. Peace, my amigos, and peace out.